to this inner circle coaching call for your purpose, for your soul's calling, for what you are meant to live and to create money with it in your life. Yes, you know, in case you see that the first time, I wanna welcome you and wanna introduce you a little bit in this beautiful work. In case you are asking yourself what your true purpose is, in case you are asking yourself how to get to know your true purpose, how to get to know what your soul once meant for this life, for your life. And if you go with this question already a few days, weeks, or months, or even years, you probably know that everything is meant for you. When I work with my clients, and I do that since over than 20 years, in the name of their true purpose, to create a soul business, a thriving soul business, we always realize that everything is meant for your calling, because we can trust that even when we do the steps unconsciously, and even when we are in the middle of the game of life and not asking up after our true purpose, that everything is aligned and meant for us. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes people ask me, but what if I am in loops, or what when I take a longer way and it feels like a fight, or like struggling, or like a setback? Or I think the most questions are concerning the loops. Then I really love to ask our own soul, because it's not the same answer for everyone. I think this makes sense. So what is this inner circle called, where you are switching in? This is a part of my community, the SoulCalling-Portal, and it's a part which is paid actually. So now this one is for free, because I see the founding member are not live yet and had no questions yet. So I can just talk a little bit with you about that, and I turn it publicly. So in the SoulCalling-Portal, you get the invitation to step in for free and to come in a beautiful, lovely community which is rising in the next months and years, so that you are in an environment with like-minded people, with people from anywhere, from any point of view, but we have something in common, that we are seeking these answers, right? And it's really time to offer that. I remember I'm now self-employed since 22 years, and I always attracted these entrepreneurs which have this question sooner or later, to ask themselves, is this really my life? I was successful, and now, what's now? I want to do something meaningful, something more meaningful, more deeper, more connections. And to be honest, now, especially in times of AI, everything which is more human, everything which is deeper and a real conversation, or even a relationship, also online or online, is so much more valuable. I think this makes sense. And it will be much, much more valuable because AI is getting bigger and bigger. And when you know me, you know I'm really excited about AI. I work intensively with AI, with customized and personalized AIs. I show that my entrepreneur VIP clients how to use them so that the life is much more easier. So it's not about this or that, but it's about realizing everything is development in one way, our own development, the other way, the development of the people around us, and the other way, the development of economy and our world, right? So there are things we cannot control, and it's never the task to control things which are not in our hands. And this is actually a fact. Human being is developing very fast and faster and faster. And we are creating, or we already created, AI and all the digital stuff before. I mean, I'm in digital world now since over than 12 or 15 years. I do my digital work for my company since 20 years. I gained my first clients like that. And digitalization was 20 years ago already a topic, even for those who don't know that. So AI is not something really new for me, but I know for the most people it is. And we are invited to go with that. And why do I explain that like that? It's something you will see and perceive in the SoulCalling-Portal too, because I offer you my absolute most gorgeous gem, my best created custom GPT, which is helping you to find your true purpose. What is happening there? I programmed and train it regularly. I train it literally with my best experiences from the last 22 years as a medium to help my clients to come in their center and to connect to their own soul's voice so that they get their answers, their true answers. They don't get my answers or my ideas. I don't coach or consult in this case. I just create a space, and I always did. And I hold the space for my clients, and I help them to connect with their truth, their own truth. And this is exactly the same what the GPT is doing. It's helping you to come in this state. The most don't know that. I also have a lot of beautiful members and clients. They know this state because they meditate regularly since years, or they have other contemplation methods to come into their center and to connect with their own truth. And that's actually the only place where you can receive the answers of your questions. And my GPT is trained to ask you the right questions. Probably you know the saying, it's always about the right questions, right? So you can ask a lot and it's just not usable for you. But you get there the questions which are really proved so that you can come in your receiving, in your download state of your truth as quickly as possible. And this is what is happening in the SoulCalling-Portal. And of course, you get the possibility to ask your questions and get answers. But the inner circle is a little step ahead. It's for the people which want to come in a small paying access. It's a small membership. It's a small amount, but it has to be an amount so that you can perceive it on eye level what the coaching part is. We meet each other and online, obviously. Later on, I also plan offline meetings. We will see. This will be a lot of fun. But you can ask your question and get coaching, not consulting. In my world, I coach with questions too, so that you can go to the right place in your middle, from your middle, and get the answers there. And this is something really touching. I perceived that in my world last years, and I have a lot of clients. They are with me since years because of that. Because guess what? When you get the answers, how you can go now and do your first step forward, it's about learning to update these informations regularly. It's always this adjusting. And you know, nothing is for sure in our lives, but the change is. And this is really a beautiful thing to learn to connect every day and to receive the adjustments. And when you do that regularly every day, the adjustments are very small. But if you do it only once a year, the adjustments are really big. I think this makes sense. So this is the main purpose of the inner circle, to be together in a closer environment with other like-minded people who are seeking more proximity, and to discuss how to implement now what you perceived from your soul's voice. What was the answer? What is meant for you? And how to create the daily life so that it's aligned with your purpose and so that you can monetize it with a new business. Often it's a new business, a new project, or addition to the existing business, or completing the existing business. And actually, in every case, almost 100% of my students and clients the last decades learned to do that online, because online, it's scalable, right? So this is one of the most asked questions. What are the next steps when I received the clarity of my soul concerning my purpose? The most of my students, they are relieved. They get confirmations for what they already desired, or they have some sort of idea, often unconsciously, and it gets conscious then, and they realize, oh my God, they are touched. They feel really drawn to this output and to this answer, and they feel it's me. But often the next question is how to the next step, how to implement this in the existing life. And this is actually not the right question. It's the way around. It's the other way around. The question is how to implement the existing life in true purpose, so that you can stay in your middle and really be with your truth every day, and the existing daily life can learn to adjust around that, and not the way around, not the opposite, because then you are in your middle, and it's your truth, which is the center of the new life. It's nothing other. You create a new life, a next level, next step in your life. It's also about identity. who am I living these new steps, creating and experiencing this purpose, doing step by step what it needs to nurture it, to grow it, like a plant, actually. So a lot also ask or tell me that they are afraid, that they are anxious concerning their vision, or the clarity, new clarity concerning their vision. Sometimes they get a mission and they realize, oh my God, I'm too small. Who am I to do that? I cannot do that. I'm not courageous enough, or I don't know how. And this is actually also not the right question. And in the inner circle, we discuss these items so that we get more and more trust in this guidance, because the true purpose is like a light on our, well, for us to follow it. And we don't have to know how we get there, because we actually never get to this light. We connect to the light and feel moment for moment the next steps. And this is quite hard to experience, especially when we come from the world which is logic driven, which is mind driven. I mean, it's not bad, right? It was the first part of our life. We did it like that. It was our normal. We learned to go with that. We did mindset training and all the stuff and inner leadership, and it's good. But it's not the source anymore, or the answers when we want to fulfill our true purpose. Then we connect with the light of the purpose, and we allow that the light literally can come in the now, so that we are the light and learn to fulfill step by step with this trust, guidance from our light. And this light is actually nurtured through our soul from God. Whatever you believe, it's not about religion. It's nurtured through our soul from God. And what also is a question often, that they don't know how to monetize it now. I mean, I just had a few days ago a beautiful student. She asked, or she told that she had a really, really touching experience with the soul calling GPT, because she got this explanation, not explanation, this confirmation for her expertise. And she realized how much she already was soul-led, but in an unconscious way. And it was really good for her, obviously, to realize it's the right path to create this conscious clarity. Yes, it's relieving. And she also told me that she got more extension, how to explain her clarity, her expertise, how to speak to the potential clients, especially online, when she wants to build up a follower community and nurture her future clients, which is actually perfect. But she asked too how to monetize it now, right? And these are also discussions which we lead in the inner circle, because this is very individual, and normally it's very natural. I can tell you that. I worked with over 200 clients in one-on-one with this technique to ask our soul. And I realized and learned that it's not only individual how to monetize, but there are also some common steps which are connected to create our vision and also ask for the mission of this expertise. And funny thing is, I always attract entrepreneurs which are meant for big missions. It's really funny, so that we can expand, we can learn to expand and to create new identities which are able to do this work and to do this stretching, literally, right? To expand, to be more courageous, to do things which our past identities would never ask for or would never had the idea to do that. And this is the magic in the soul calling inner circle, to be honest. What I also created in the inner circle, it's a beautiful place for a mini course to manifest with your soul calling. You know, I mean, 5 years ago, if someone would ask, and I had clients, they asked me, could you please teach manifesting? I said no. Why? Because I mean, I have a lot of skills and I already worked with that in my entrepreneurship too. And I developed this clarity and this power, but I never felt a calling for teaching manifesting. And in between, I realized why. It was 3 years ago when Spirit World told me, now you create a manifestation lounge and you do some personal invitations to some specific existing VIP clients and work with them in the next months with the manifestation drops we give you. And I did that. I always let me lead through this guidance. And it was very, very touching because I also got a teaching about manifestation. They told me it was the quantum manifestation. And I started it 3 years ago, ended it after 2 years because I felt it's done now. And this manifestation lounge is now accessible only for my VIP clients in the business hub. But in the soul calling inner circle, I also got the invitation from above to create a mini course, manifestation with your soul. And you know, it's more than quantum manifestation. When you ask to manifest with your soul, you really get the clarity to manifest what is really meant for you and not to manifest what you see with others. And it creates also a desire in you, but it's not really aligned. And sometimes we don't know what is meant for us, or we don't know the next step for whatever we know about our true purpose. We only get for now to know what we must know and not the whole plan, right? And it makes sense. It's important that it's like that. So we can learn with the soul manifestation course, we can learn how to use quantum manifestation aligned with your own code. This is something mind-blowing. I love it. You can call it mindset teaching. You can call it inspiration on your way. You can call it whatever you want. But there are coming regular drops as an audio. We already have 4 or 5, I don't know exactly. And they should inspire you and help you to be on track. Exactly. So these are the most common questions. And I really appreciate that you are here and still listening. Thank you so much for that. If you have some questions, please don't hesitate to ask them below. I also put the link for you to the Soul Calling portal. Please feel invited to join for free. It's hosted on Skool. In case you know Skool, it's the place where Alex Hormozy is too. And I really love it there because as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of things I get as a support from the digital part to help you guys to have a better and beautiful experience, even if it's online, and also to connect with others and create beautiful relationships online. I would love to answer your questions. Don't hesitate. Thank you so much in advance. Thank you for listening. And who knows, perhaps we see us in